A very good evening to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. So today is Thursday class, 12 June 2025. As usual, we will be continuing from where we stopped. We are at Unique Dhamma Code 153. From this book, Straight from the Heart, Unique Dhamma Code by me. Okay, as usual, we gather for physical puja. 南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无文殊菩萨。南无文殊菩萨，南无文殊菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨。อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภะคะวะพุทธังภะคะวันตังอะภิวาเทมิสุขโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิอาทินาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาระเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาดัฏฐานะเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิกันนะสารปะดิเทนะดิเปนะตมะดังสีนะติโลกาดิปังสัมบุตตังปูจายามิตโมนุดังกันดาสัมบารยุเตนะดุเปนะหังสุกังหินะปูจาเยปูจานิยังตังปูจาปัจจานะโมตตมัง Vanna Kanda Guno Petang Etang Kasuma Santatin Pujayami Monindasa Siri Pada Sarorohe Pujemi Bedang Kasumena Nena Punnena Matena Cha Hotu Mokang Pupang Malayati Idang Me Yata Idang Me Kayo Tata Yati Vinasa Bhavan Adivase Tu No Bante Paniyang Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Patigan Hatu Muttamang Adivayase Tu No Bante Pale Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Patigan Hatu Muttamang Adivase Tu No Bante Bojanang Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Ganhatu Muttamang. Now we will chant our puja aspirations based on our understanding of the significance of all these puja offerings. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha brings forth the causes and conditions to illuminate mind and help arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness or ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses of the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue, and understanding shine forth far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense, which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in wisdom and virtue. Significance of offering of fruits. May this offering of fruits remind us of the Dana Parami of generosity and the fruit of our karma, so that we will diligently strive on with heedfulness to attain the path and fruition soon as possible. Significance of offering of flowers. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, leading to ultimate liberation, the born-free Nibbana, making of overall aspiration. By the power of all these merits born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas or power. Sharing and transfer merits to all beings. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the condition and affinity to receive them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's pay respect to Puja. Bhutang Pujayami. Dhammang Pujayami. Sanghang Pujayami. Just remember to apply the four support, especially the first three. So, learn to stabilize your mind by applying the first three support. First, to relax body and mind completely, so that you are at ease, completely relaxed. Whatever arises, any mind state, any tension, tightness or stress within, just relax into it and feel yourself soothingly relax. Then maintain awareness. Maintaining awareness is very important, whether it's our true mind, it's just aware, finish. Don't try to know, don't try to follow. Just every moment of attention is awareness. Without thought, you're already aware. So maintaining awareness is not to create thought. That's why I say, don't try to know, don't try to do, don't try to verbalize, don't try to verbalize and chatter. Mentally, completely quiet, still. Then stabilize this inner awareness by repeating the maintenance of awareness. Whatever arises at the sense basis, aware, finish. Aware, silent. Then let the mind settle down until it becomes very quiet and very still. Then for those who already know how to stabilize their inner awareness, you can move on to the fourth support, where you just continue to relax body and mind, then stay at the heart area and let the nature move by itself. The fourth support is trust. Trust your inner awareness nature to develop the meditative movement, the internal awareness. So whatever that comes to your awareness, nature's attention, like whatever heartbeat or vibration that you can detect at your heart area, just silence everything and be with it and allow the awareness and the phenomena to move as one until it becomes very quiet, very still. Then let the nature detect whatever that arises. Then let it stabilize. Okay, with that I let you meditate on your own. I will set the alarm for 30 minutes. You can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Then try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. These are the mind states that you need to stabilize so that it can be with you throughout the day to develop the daily mindfulness. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in the entirety, let the deities or Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release Nibbana. Now is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakawalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sakkamokkhadang Dhamma Swaran Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Swaran Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Swaran Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti Peso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho วิจาจารณสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิดูอนุตตโรปุริสธัมมสารติสัตตาเทวามนุสานังพุทโธภควาติสวากขาโตภควตาธัมโมสันติติโกอากาลิโกเอหิปัสสโกอุปานายิโกปัจจตังเวดิตาโบวิโนหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอุจุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆญาญาปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยะทิดังจัตตาริปุริสยุคานิอัตตปุริสภูกาลาเอสาภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุเนโยปาหุเนโยทักเกเนโยยาลิการาเนโยอนุตตรังปุญญังเกตังอาสาติสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, you can be seated. Now we'll continue from where we stopped. We are at Unique Dhamma Code 153. It's on page 43 of this book. Straight from the Heart Unique Dhamma Code by me. Unique Code 153 on the fallacy of practicing letting go. So this one we have gone through actually at our previous session, but I want to just repeat it because just for recap, we have actually not have the Thursday class for about 3 weeks already because of Pamasuri overseas, and there was 1 week my brother came. So now I will go through one more time so that you can develop the clear understanding of this fallacy. Unique Dhamma Code 153. The practice of letting go is a fallacy, an illusion based on Dhamma knowledge, Dhamma logic, and not wisdom. The reason being, the moment one awakens or understands, it is immediate and sudden. One is no longer deluded. Hence, one will not hold or cling anymore. When one cannot hold or cling, is there a need to let go? That is the understanding. Then you have to inquire, who holds? Who clings? Only the one that is deluded will hold. We are ignorant. So how can the deluded one really practice letting go? Without wisdom, one will continue to hold and cling, because it is the thought that tries to practice letting go. So this thought is very funny, because it's my make, and thought is based on logic. So the logic is, if I practice letting go, then I will not cling, I will not grasp. So whatever that is logical, without wisdom, you may think it is the truth. But if you really have the understanding, it is far from the truth. Well, who practice letting go? Do you need to practice letting go? The moment you awaken, you realize, automatically you see the danger in grasping, clinging and holding. Then you will not hold. So for a being, a cultivator who cannot hold because of the wisdom, is there a need to practice, to learn how to let go? Letting go is not a practice or a learning. There is knowledge. Knowledge makes you believe that it is very logical. If I cling, I grasp, I have a problem, then I have to practice how to let go. There is no such practice. Without wisdom, you cannot let go, and you cannot don't want to grasp and cling and hold. That's why avijja, sakkaya-ditthi, self-delusion is the main culprit, and that is the one we need to root it out. Without rooting that out, we can't. So the practice of letting go comes from our worldly activity, because we read the final summary of the First Noble Truth and realize that not able to have that wisdom not to cling is a problem. So the unenlightened one think differently. They think from logic, from the thought level. So they thought by practicing letting go, they can free their mind. They can relinquish the attachment. No amount of practice can give rise to that wisdom. Your wisdom is not from practicing. Wisdom is an awakening. It's an enlightenment. When you can see things as they are, an insight into truth, into the reality, into the universal characteristic, then there is no longer delusion, sakkaya-ditthi, or avijja. And when there is no more ignorance, no more avijja, no more sakkaya-ditthi, then naturally the wisdom will liberate your mind. So that fallacy is very important, you must see it clearly. So coming back to the example that I gave at the previous Thursday class. So I still haven't rubbed it. So I draw here the circle with a cross inside. I say, let's say this is your problem, okay? And this problem can be something that you hold on to using your thought. Let's say the First Noble Truth reality, the eighth reality, that conditions suffering. It can be birth, old age, sickness, or death. Or it can be separation. Or it can be when you are with people whom you don't like, when things don't go your way, when you cannot get what you want, when your expectations in life are not fulfilled. Then in short, the final summary, when you deludedly grasp onto your five aggregate of form and mind, thinking that it's you, it's real, it's a permanent unchanging entity, then suffering is the result. That's why the five aggregates of grasping, the grasping aggregate, condition, dukkha, or suffering. So if this is what is tormenting you, burdening you, because you call it a problem, so how do we develop the understanding to resolve it? Like I explained, if you have the wisdom, you see that this is a problem. And when you hold on to this problem, it is burning you and tormenting you, then why do you hold? It's just like a red hot whatever thing, a molten red hot thing. If you hold, it will burn you, it will torment you. And living beings' delusion is, they say, this is my problem, he said. I have to solve it. Nothing wrong with that statement, you have to solve it. But not by holding on to it, understand? Solving it through understanding or wisdom is correct. But not holding on to it and try to solve it by practicing letting go. Because when you are deluded, you will continue to hold. Why do you hold? Because you think it's a problem. You perceive things with negativity. You cannot accept the reality of the moment. So when you perceive things with negativity as a problem, then what happens? You will hold on to it and worry about it. So worrying about it is the cause of suffering. Because you have fear, you have worry, you have anxiety, leading to all your phobia, sorrow, lamentation. Because no amount of fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow and lamentation can help you solve your problem. To solve your problem, you must accept this reality for what it is. Like the Buddha said, whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. So even if it's one of the 8 reality of the First Noble Truth, when you are confronted with it, it may be more than one, sometimes multiple, a few coming together. But whatever it is, when it arises, like the Buddha said, whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. And these causes and conditions, he already explained under the 5th daily contemplation. That's why he said, we are all born our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. So this one is not a problem if you can see it clearly. Just condition like that, things will be like that. You reap what you sow. Causes and conditions already set. If you have not created the causes and conditions from the past, which is mainly karmic related, because we are born of karma, heir to our karma, conditions supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. So when this arises, you can accept this for what it is, means come to terms with it, accept the reality for what it is, and if you can come to terms with this reality, which is what is, the isness of things, or suchness, then your mind will not hold, where you can accept condition like that, things will be like that. People are just the way they are. The world is the world. So when you understand that, then you will not hold. When you don't hold means it will not burn you, it will not torment you. It will not lead to fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow and lamentation. You will not project your thought, but you accept this is a reality. It must be something from the past, karmically. Either you have done something that has karmic consequence, that condition the present moment reality, that condition you to be afflicted. Then through wisdom, you can come to terms with this reality. When you have right view to accept this reality, then you are at peace. When you are at peace means you have clarity of mind. You do not create the fear, worry, anxiety. You do not project your thought. You do not develop the movement from the present moment. That's why be with it. Allow it to be. Then see clearly what happened. Even if there is anger, hatred, fear, worry, anxiety, see it clearly. How did fear arise? How did anger arise? Why did you stir your mind? Because you don't have right view. You are not able to come to terms with the reality of what happened. That's why ability to see things as they are, ability to accept the reality of the moment is wisdom. Without that, your mind will stir, react, and condition you to grasp, cling, develop the fear, the phobia, the insecurity, the worry, and the anxiety, thereby conditioning you to be afflicted, to develop all the unnecessary mental and physical suffering. So knowing this, then it is very easy. If I just have this wisdom to come to terms with this reality and be at peace with it, then I have clarity of mind. Then there is nothing to condition me to have fear, worry, anxiety, which means I have clarity. Then I can see clearly and reflect and contemplate and ask myself, what is happening? How can I resolve this amicably so that I can move on? So that I can resolve this so-called problem in inverted comma. So that I can move on with my life and continue with what I want to do in life. So this understanding is very important. So without wisdom, you cannot have this understanding to resolve whatever situation that arises. Otherwise, you will continue to grasp, cling, hold, and term it as a problem. Then you continue to worry about this so-called problem. That's why suffering. This so-called problem, when you hold on to it, you worry about it. Then it conditions you to have mental and physical suffering. That fear energy is very negative. That phobia, that worry, that anxiety, that sorrow, that lamentation, that attachment, that clinging, and that grasping. So that one is burning and tormenting the living being. So understanding this, then you have to move on. How can we resolve all this amicably? You have to apply Noble Eightfold Path. So nothing frees the mind. Always remember, except wisdom, born of the Dhamma understanding. And within the Dhamma understanding that the Buddha has taught us, within the Four Noble Truths, the fourth Noble Truth is the one that can help us develop the understanding. Because the Buddha said, if you cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path, it will lead to the end of all suffering. That is the meditation as taught by the Buddha. That is the wisdom as taught by the Buddha. What are Noble Eightfold Paths? There are 8 very noble path factors that can enable you to understand life and live life and help you resolve all situations and problems in life without negativity. Because they are all beautiful, noble, Eightfold Path factors. Starting with right view, leading to right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood, right way of living life. Then the 4 right effort, then right samadhi, right sati. And that's how the Noble Eightfold Path can be put into application. And through that, you will develop the wisdom not to grasp, not to cling, not to hold. And when you cannot hold, cannot grasp, cannot cling, through wisdom, is there a need to let go? That's why practice of letting go is a fallacy. You cannot practice to let go. When you still have avijja, ignorant, delusion, you cannot let go. That's why that practice is a fallacy, an illusion. So understanding all this is very vital. So the purpose of meditation is to enable us to develop the silent mind, the pure awareness nature. From here, see and observe the five aggregates of form and mind clearly. Then understand what is this five aggregate of form and mind. Then how, from that five aggregate of form and mind, the two aspects, how the mundane mind comes about. How this mundane thinking, mundane stirring and reaction that trigger off the five aggregate of form and mind, the mental five aggregate, to give rise to the phenomenal world of consciousness. Because we have the senses, six sense bases. Upon contact, every moment of contact at their respective sense bases, it will trigger off their six type of respective sense of consciousness. That's why this is a phenomenal world of consciousness. And this one is what we call the conditioned world, our existential world. This is where everything happens. That's why sometimes we call it the chaotic world. It's very chaotic. But people cannot see, cannot understand. That's why this is the one that actually lure and entice the living being. So when you don't have the wisdom, when you cannot see the five aggregates of form and mind, and realize that it is not a permanent, unchanging entity, not you, no I, no me, no Sakkaya Ditthi, then you can develop the wisdom to free. But if you cannot see it, then you will develop the self-delusion to grasp and to cling, and you believe this is you. That's why you will worry about it getting old, getting sick and die. And that is the reality. That's why when you cling to the physical form, you suffer. When you cling to external form within the sense bases, you also suffer, because you believe they are real. It continues to lure you, entice you, and create confusion in you. So all this understanding can only be developed through mindfulness, awareness. When you bring your conditioned thinking back to pure awareness nature, you cease all the conditioned thinking, the phenomenal world of consciousness, you return to the mundane mind. Then the mundane mind realizes itself and ceases. Then you realize the true mind, the pure awareness. Then from here, you can develop the direct seeing, the cultivation, to develop the wisdom, to free the mind. That's why from the pure awareness nature, the pure consciousness up here, you can either go this wisdom way, the direct seeing, to develop the wisdom, then to live life. Or you go to the senses direct, to trigger off the phenomenal world of consciousness, then get yourself entangled with the five aggregates of form and mind at the sense basis there. So this one is mundane living, this direction. Whereas this direction is the direct seeing, develop the wisdom, then noble living, this direction. Noble living. NL is noble living. So this is the whole understanding of awareness-based meditation. When you are back to this pure awareness nature, the pure consciousness, before you input the content, you can go this way to develop the direct seeing, the wisdom, or you go this way to develop mundane living, the mundane activity, the five aggregates of form. And this is the one that has karmic consequence. The Buddha said, this mundane mind, mundane living, this mind is mano. Mind is a forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. When mind arises, all things arise. Because this one has moral causation based on your memory, your views, your opinion, your conditioning, your belief system, your whatever phobia, fear, worry, anxiety, selfishness, and even psychological memories. All this condition you into delusion. And when you act from there, that's why acting according to memory, which is not wisdom, which is basically knowledge, is not acting at all. Because you cannot act with all your phobia, your fear, your worry, your anxiety, your wrong view, your security, your conditioned thinking, your knowledge. All this, they are not wisdom. So when you want to act, you must develop this wisdom via the direct seeing, the awareness-based meditation. Then when this one arises, this is wisdom, or the Buddha called Yoniso Manasikara. Wisdom at the moment of sense experience. This one will manifest spontaneously to prompt you at the moment of sense experience. That's why your mind will not stir, will not react. It will stay the way it is. It can come to terms with this reality, where the Yoniso Manasikara prevents you from acting deludedly, from having the delusion to practice letting go. No such practice. That's why I say wisdom, Yoniso Manasikara. You have means you have, you don't have means you don't have. You cannot practice it. You must realize it. Once you realize it's always there with your nature, and it will never disappear unless that form and mind separate or cease. Okay? So with this, I hope after today's sharing, it will be a lot more clearer. Any question? If no question, then maybe I'll read the unit code one more time, so that you all can develop that clear understanding. So this time when I read, I hope it becomes very clear. The practice of letting go is a fallacy. It's an illusion based on Dhamma knowledge, Dhamma logic, and not wisdom. Because the reason is, the moment one awakens or develops the enlightenment or understanding, it is immediate and sudden, means spontaneous. Then one is no longer deluded. And when one is no longer deluded, one will not hold or cling anymore. So when one cannot hold or cling, the question is, the inquiry is there a need to let go? Which means, who let go? The one who holds. But the one who holds is the deluded one with ignorance. If the deluded one is without ignorance, then there is no such delusion as to practice letting go. So how can the deluded one really let go? That's why there is no such practice. Without wisdom, one will continue to hold and cling, because it is the thought, the mundane thought, the mundane thinking that tries to practice letting go. That's why this thought-based approach is full of this flaw or fallacy. The mundane mind has a lot of logic, but most of the time it's not the truth. It's not the clear understanding. So approaching meditation with understanding is very important. When you have the understanding, you will not be gullible, and you will not practice all those so-called gullible thought-based approach to meditation. Because in the early day, I think this is a very popular fallacy. They say practice letting go. You must learn how to practice letting go. Practice not to hold, not to cling, not to grasp. This is not like acquiring a skill or playing a game or badminton or what, where you need to practice, repetitive. We are practicing is what they call mechanical. Because mechanical thing you need to practice, constant training. But wisdom you cannot practice. You need to awaken to it. You need to insight into phenomena to realize the clear understanding based to penetrate the universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha and anatta. You must see clearly the anatta nature, the non-self, empty nature, that all phenomena that arise within the conditioned world, they are conditioned arising phenomena, causal phenomena, dependent originating, not a permanent unchanging entity that you can grasp onto, cling onto and hold onto and say this is me, this is I, therefore all this can be mine. That is a fallacy. So silence your mind, develop the pure awareness within, to see clearly, to insight into phenomena, to observe and understand clearly. Who are you? What are you? What is this so-called fine aggregate of form and mind, or the so-called human being for our case? For the others, they are called living beings. But for ourselves, this so-called human being, is it really what you think you are? Is it a permanent unchanging entity? If it's not a permanent unchanging entity, then why do you cling? Why do you grasp? It's like any phenomena that arises and passes away based on causes and conditions. That's why it's dependent originating. Everything within the conditioned world is conditioned Dhamma. That's why the famous Diamond Sutta saying, 一切有为法，如梦幻泡影，如露亦如电，应作如是观. The meaning is, everything within the conditioned world are conditioned Dhamma, because dependent on condition they arise. When conditions cease to be, they cease to be. That's why no reality, empty. They come and they go because of causes and conditions. And dependent on causes and conditions, things arise. When causes and conditions continue to exist and sustain itself, phenomena continue to evolve and exist. But when causes and conditions cease to be, phenomena will cease to be. So all this can be understood, can be awakened to, if you are mindful, if you are aware. You can be silent within, without thought. With that true mind, that silent mind, you can awaken. You can insight into phenomena. You can see things as they are clearly. Anybody want to ask any question or add anything? Is it clear or not? This is the second time I think we share this. So can you see clearly how the unique Dhamma code manifests as a fallacy, the practice of letting go? There is no such practice. You have to question, who practice? The thought practice. And what is the thought doing? The thought want to let go. Without wisdom, I already mentioned, without the yoniso manasikara, you cannot let go. You will cling, you will grasp. It's just like the fallacy of those who study the Paticca Samuppada 12 links. They saw the link of feeling. Upon contact, feeling arise. Then when feeling arise, it conditions craving, the trigger of the whole mass of suffering. And then they say, practice, cut at feeling. You think you can cut at feeling? Without wisdom, feeling will be conditioned into craving straight away. Your feeling cannot be pure feeling. That's why all those are delusion, fallacy, thought-based, not Dhamma or wisdom-based. So able to understand all this is what wisdom is all about. Without clear understanding, clear wisdom, you cannot see the fallacy where you will think it is very logical. And a lot of people become very gullible. I remember in the early days, they talk about this very often. Practice how to let go. Practice how to cut that feeling. So what they do, when feeling arises, they suppress that feeling. They don't want to let it move on to craving and clinging and grasping. So they yan. That is suppression. Suppressing your feeling and your emotion is not the way. If you still have avijja, it will stir, it will react, it will move. Because this is a nature's condition, paticca samuppada. But the moment you have wisdom, understanding, then feeling will remain as pure feeling. It will not be conditioned into craving. That's why what you need is wisdom, the yoniso manasikara, the right understanding, not the wrong view. Yeah, Sui may share something.
Skidhotu Kanamitas. Something to add, because initially when I looked at this topic and the contents on the whiteboard, what was not very clear to me was the word hold. I think after the many years and many retreats, now it's clearer, and how I can articulate it is with examples. So when something unpleasant happened to me, and the thought that comes up and said, he shouldn't shout at me, or I shouldn't need to pay for this, how I hold and cause suffering is really even believing a bit of that is the act of holding. The minute I believe he should not shout at me, then I'm holding on to it already. It is not using the hand and literally hold something. It's not very clear. So the holding that happens within me, it's very hard to articulate. But how the closest I can express it is the minute I even believe I shouldn't be shouted at, or I believe that I shouldn't need to pay for this. That itself is how I am holding on to that hurtful, molten red suffering.
That is the atta arising, the sakayaditi. Yeah, I shouldn't be shouted at. I shouldn't be, but that I manifests straight away, the sakayaditi. That's why the holding on to it here, it means the thought. You hold on to your thought, understand not? Your thought process. Like Sui said, the thought that tell him, he shouldn't have shouted at me. He shouldn't have done all this. Well, all this is what your thought tell you. The thought process manifests and tell you. But this is not the reality. The reality is, he is the way he is, finished. Understand? Or causes and condition already set. Karmic, unfolding. That's why the karmic consciousness, when they unfold, you reap what you sow. All this come back to you. So the main culprit is you worry about it. When you worry about it, means you are holding on to it. Then you call it a problem. What is a problem? Things that you cannot come to terms with the reality. When you perceive a situation with negativity or mind state, that's why you call it a problem. Then you continuously holding on to it. Why? Because this thought will come and haunt you. Like financial problem, relationship problem, the problem that relates to old age, sickness, and death. All this anxiety, fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation, they arise through thought projection. That's why when you project your thought, you develop fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and lamentation. And this one is very negative. Psychological memory. All of your fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and lamentation, and what they call deep phobia, resentment, hatred, and all those things, or even violence, all those emotions, they are very negative, very detrimental. That's why it is burning and tormenting the mind. And through this, it will condition what they call suffering within your physical form. But all this negative energy, fear, they can cause your immune system to go down, your cell to mutate. Then you will entangle yourself with a lot of unnecessary disease and sickness, which can actually afflict the living being. So a lot of very traumatic disease like cancer, stroke, heart attack, they are the result of that fear, worry, anxiety, and stress, mainly stress, negative emotion, very stressful. So for those who can see, like Sui, contemplate, the thought that tell you, whatever that thought that tell you, that's why I said, hold on to it in your thought process. This is the one, your thought process. Whatever manifests from that thought, it will continue to haunt you. This is your unresolved problem, understand not? When you feel that this one is a problem, then you continuously worry about that problem. Where you want to resolve it, but you don't know how to resolve it. You resolve it by holding on to it and worrying about it, not following the Dhamma way, which is the wisdom way. And this is very important. That's why you have to contemplate, reflect, and go into it, and see this very clearly. And when you see this very clearly, then you can put it in words and explain to people whom you want to help. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, I will move on to the next Dhamma quote. Unique Dhamma quote 154. Okay, this one is easy to understand. This one I have explained just now. The ultimate truth is most of the time the opposite of what is logical. So now you understand the practice of letting go, the practice of how to cut at feeling. Then they practice to develop understanding or wisdom. Where all this you need to cultivate, you cannot practice. Practice is what we call a delusion, because practice is mechanical, where you continuously do something repetitively. So repetitive activity comes from what we call training, like mechanical in nature. You keep on doing it, like you practice how to play game, how to cycle a bicycle, how to drive a car. That one you need to practice, repetitive, until you become skillful. But to develop wisdom, you cannot practice. It's not a knowledge. It's not something that you can acquire through constant repetitive doing. That's why sometimes you cannot blame J. Krishnamurti for saying that. He said, all those thought-based approach to meditation, he said, it makes your mind down. It's very mechanical. He said. You keep on repeating. So even chanting, if you are not careful, your chanting can become mechanical. Because the Mahayana way of training the mind through chanting is not mechanically repeating it. It is through development of faith. When you chant the great being's name, or they call it the four how. Four how in English is called. I think there are many English words to actually understand the word, because it can be a mantra, it can be a Buddha's name, or for Kuan Yin Bodhisattva's case is Om Mani Padme Hum also is a four how. It's a what they call mantra, or they call it what? Like Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bohisoha. So all these are from the Heart Sutta, where you can actually recite through faith, through understanding, to develop the wisdom. Where when you chant with understanding, with the faith, then the saddha arises. And that saddha actually gives rise to the faith. And that faith is the one that drives you to diligently cultivate. That is the virya. Then when you chant it with awareness, mindfulness, until the chanting and the vibration become one. Means that awareness is aware of the chanting and the vibration, and they become one. Then you realize there is no one chanting. It is just the pure awareness, and that sati stabilizes. Then the mind enters sati. Then everything you do is in sati. Then when you stabilize it, it becomes samadhi. So that is different. But if you just chant without understanding, then it becomes repetitive. You remember the Zen story? Yeah? There was a nun, an old nun, who every time recite Amitofo, Amitofo. Then one old monk, I think, who is enlightened, he realized that she is doing it wrongly, mechanically, repetitively. So he purposely go to the nunnery and knock at the door. Not very loud, until the nun become like agitated, came out. Then he asked him, why are you doing all this? And through the chanting, you're supposed to develop understanding, wisdom, ability to come to terms with the reality, to see things. Instead, she become more and more angry. Then after the first time, he said, your chanting is disturbing, very disturbing. So the nun couldn't be bothered. Just tell him, don't come and disturb me. Then after he shut the door, he go in and repeat the chanting. Then he came and knocked again. I think a total of 3 times. Yeah. So what happened was, at the third occasion, the old monk gave that old nun a hint. He said, when you chant like that, without understanding, it's annoying. Maybe you don't feel it, but I live nearby. I felt it. So what happened if you do that to the Buddha, to Amitabha Buddha? You think Amitabha Buddha like it? Then only he realized that something is not right. Because you are like parroting without understanding. And the recitation has become what they call mechanical in nature. Like we call it parroting. So that is to chant without mindfulness, without understanding, without the saddha, virya, sati. So there is a big difference. So mechanical, repetitive, thought-based approach to meditation can never lead to wisdom. That's why Krishnamurti say, if you do that, it dulls the mind. D-U-L-L, dulls the mind. The mind become like mechanical, dull. There is no clarity, there is no awareness. And that verbalization through that chanting is not sati, not awareness. That's why it cannot lead to wisdom. So no amount of all this mechanical approach, thought-based approach to so-called meditation can bring forth the understanding and the wisdom. So that part is exactly what my unique code try to explain to you. Most of the time is based on logic, knowledge, where you heard, then you go and practice. You go and repeat all this. It's just like you become gullible. Practice letting go, practice to cut at feeling, practice Noble Eightfold Path. Noble Eightfold Path is a wisdom that you need to reflect, contemplate, and arise it. There's a right effort to arise the right thought, the wholesome thought that are still not in you. Means you need to contemplate, reflect. Then you need to refine upon it, perfect it, so that it become a part of you. So all these are the important understanding. So whatever that is logical may not necessarily be the truth. That's why I put here, the ultimate truth is most of the time opposite of what is logical. So thought-based and knowledge-based approach to meditation and learning of the Dhamma is very dangerous. Because when you develop the training through mechanical, repetitive knowledge, thought-based approach, then you don't really learn the true wisdom, the true understanding of the Dhamma. Ultimate truth is the reality, and this can only be awakened to, be observed through the silent mind. We are seeing things as they are, through a direct seeing, insight into phenomena. Apart from that, there is no way you can develop it. That's why thought-based approach can never lead you to an understanding that is beyond thought, beyond mind. That's why the Buddha explained it under the salutation to the Dhamma. This Dhamma that he has realized is sanditiko, can be realized in the here and the now, no need to wait till death. That is akaliko, beyond thought, beyond mind. That's why it's very unique. So that understanding is very important. That will trigger off very, very clear understanding that you need awareness-based meditation to realize the Dhamma that is beyond thought, beyond mind. So awareness is without thought. So sati is an awareness before the knowing, before the perception, before the thinking, before the arising of thought. So that pure consciousness, the pure awareness, that is just aware. That's why we have specific phenomena awareness, not a rigid one. Then we have a spacious awareness without a center. So these are awareness-based phenomena that can be perceived through the pure awareness nature. But the moment you arise, the aggregates of mind, may be feeling, perception, sankhara activity, or any of the mind state, then you are no longer aware. At the moment of sense experience, the pure consciousness is still relatively pure. But the moment you input the content, your feeling, perception, and content of consciousness, which is your sankhara mind state, once that one go in, then it become a thought. Then it manifests as the egoic mind, the mundane mind. And through that, it creates karmic volition, moral causation. That's how karma comes to be. That's how the karmic process takes its effect. And meditation is to develop the understanding of all this. How thought-based approach lead to karmic activity that conditions suffering. But when you develop it from the silent mind, the meditative mind, the pure awareness nature, that one is wisdom approach to meditation. You can see things as they are without the thought. When you are with the pure awareness, you can insight into phenomena to awaken, to develop the wisdom, the yoniso manasikara, that can spontaneously prompt you and prevent you from reacting, stirring your mind, and developing the delusion to grasp, cling, and attach. So all these understanding are very important. Okay. What's the time now? Oh, we have to end. Maybe I move to the next one. Unique Dhamma Code 155. The moment you are attentive without thought, you are already aware and in sati. I think this one, most of you already developed the understanding. Attentive means you are just aware. Means with your senses fully attentive. Understand not? You are not lost in thought, attentive. You pay attention, like you listen attentively. The direct seeing, see attentively. The moment you are attentive, you are paying attention, you are not lost in thought. You are not heedless. So the moment you are attentive without thought, I put in the extra word, you are already aware and in sati. So how many of you can really be attentive? Pay attention without falling into sleep, without developing the sloth and torpor, the sleepiness and all those things. To pay attention is not easy. That's why if it's not a topic that interests you, to pay attention is not easy. Most people find it very difficult to be attentive, especially when you are in a situation where the topic share is not something that you see as important. When you don't see the importance of that topic, you cannot be attentive one. You will become like very boring. Then you just want to leave that place, or you maybe doze off, or feel sleepy. So all this is what understanding is. When you understand that the moment you are attentive without thought, you are already aware, then don't try to be mindful. Don't try to practice mindfulness. That is another fallacy. There is no one to do the practice. When you use the thought to do mindfulness, then you practice. We are the thought practice. How can the thought which is active be mindful? You ask yourself. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is sati. And what is sati? Awareness before the knowing. So when the thought is actively practicing mindfulness, how can it develop mindfulness? The understanding of it is very important. That's why all these are logical, but it's a fallacy. So with this we end. Then we will have 3 minutes of toilet break. Then after that we come back. Okay, now we come back to the second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever question you may have. Question regarding today's topic or any Dhamma sharing that can bring forth your understanding of Dhamma in daily life, or how to apply this so-called teaching to help you overcome all your life problems.
Hello, Amitofo, brother,
Amitofo, yeah.
Mrs. Teo, and all Kayamitas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today's topic is also very interesting and often a hot topic. About hot base. How we use that to. I heard this before also, how you cut feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
So that you
Practice
can let.
letting go.
So that is I mean, I heard of this in the past, but
yeah. It's very common.
but most recently, I don't hear this anymore.
Yeah.
After
In
have
fact, over the
changed,
last few years, I also seldom hear this anymore. Yeah.
yes,
In the early
yes,
years was very popular. Gut and
yes,
feeling, gut and feeling.
yes. So now because of this awareness based meditation, right?
Mm,
Uh, I don't hear this anymore,
mm,
and I mean, in fact, even outside Brazil's Hanita groups, right? I
mm.
also hear my friends talking about awareness, Brazil. Even the
Oh,
teachers
sadhu. That's
talking
good
about
news. Yeah.
awareness
Yeah.
as well, no
Yeah.
longer talk about,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, talk about I mean, they don't say thought-based meditation, but that they are using the knowledge and the
Yeah.
thinking,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
meditate, but they
Mm.
don't refer it as thought-based, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
from what they say, is thought-based, because
Mm.
they
Mm.
use all the thinking, like think, do, whatever, this
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
visualization. So this is thought based. So they are using thought based approach.
Yeah. The
But
labeling.
yes, the
They use
labeling.
their thought to label thinking,
Yes,
thinking,
correct, correct,
thinking.
correct, correct.
Pain,
So
pain,
so
pain, and all
yes,
this.
yes. So they use that, but they don't say it as thought based though, brother Teo.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they cannot see that it is thought-based approach
Yes,
to
yes,
so-called meditation. Because they are taught to meditate that way. They
yes,
think by noting is to develop mindfulness. You are
yes.
mindful of the pain. You are
Mm-hmm.
mindful of the verbalization, the thinking, the all those things. Actually, when you have the true awareness, then you realize what they are telling you is the thought is aware of those so-called activity of thought. So it's one thought so-called aware of another thought, but the use of the word awareness is wrong. Means they perceive. It's a thought that perceive that they are thinking. It's a thought that perceives that they are doing mindfulness through verbalization because they don't have the real sati. So, thought-based meditation, the person doing it may not realize that it is thought-based until later. Later, when they develop the stability of sati, awareness, then when they can see the awareness and the difference between the arising of thought and the awareness, and then only they start to understand. Then only later on, as they continue to cultivate deeper understanding, then when they heard about my explanation of what the Dhamma is, then only people start to understand. That's why the unique characteristics of Dhamma under the salutation to the Dhamma as proclaimed by the Buddha is very profound. Not until they go through all those characteristics that this Dhamma is Sanditiko, Akaliko, Ehipasiko, Opanayiko, Pacetang, Veditabo, Vinuhiti. They cannot see that this one cannot be realized through thought-based approach. Thought-based verbalization cannot lead to a state that is beyond thought, beyond mind. That realization actually is very important, or that so-called beginning of understanding is very important. That's why quite a number of the new Kayamita, they came to my class was because they realized after doing that so-called traditional approach, which is thought-based, they cannot penetrate the Dhamma. Especially that Brother Wong. So all this, I think, over the years recently, more and more people has developed the understanding. That's why if you look back, before the year 2000, a lot of people is talking about jhana practices and all those things. And mindfulness or awareness is not popular during those era. But later on, as more and more people develop the importance of sati, mindfulness, then of course other teachers like Eckhart Tolle, the power of now, then Krishnamurti, the awareness based approach to understanding through meditation. Once all this starts to become more and more influential, then there is a shift, I realize, a shift. Then now more and more people are talking about awareness, mindfulness, less and less of this verbalization, labeling, thought-based approach and all those things. Yeah, you continue, Poh Cheng. Yeah, Sadhu.
Yes. That's very true, Radio, because of the change. You can see the change. The teachers, they also stop talking about these thought days, using the label to meditate, and also, but there are still, I don't know, but I still feel that there are some that still thinking that you need jhana to awaken, Radio. Okay, it's still, some people are still holding the idea that you need jhana to awaken.
Yeah, that was very popular in the early days. But nowadays, I seldom hear the emphasis.
Still
got,
still have. It's just that they don't emphasize, but they do say that in order for you to awaken, you need to have
need
jhana.
jhana.
Yes, you need jhana. Still happening, but it's not very strong, but once in a while you still hear, and I still hear my friends say, I need jhana, So it's difficult to how do I say, to tell them that you do not need jhana to awaken,
no need to argue with them because
no.
These people, they cannot accept so fast. It need them to actually develop the understanding gradually on their own.
Correct.
Because when they believe that jhana is something that they need to do, and they believe that that is the one that lead to enlightenment, you cannot argue with them. Try to avoid.
Not to say to argue with them, but I'm saying that when you listen to what they said, because they have heard it from their teachers,
Correct.
They have heard it, therefore they think that that is the truth,
They will emphasize on that and approach from that. Then sometimes they quote to you the sutta.
So the thing is like this, for me personally, I don't argue with them. But for me personally, because of the way I learn, I learn, and my teachers also I will contribute my teachers and the way I learn. So when I have teachers that talk. Not really teachers, but I hear on the YouTube in the past talk about jhana and you need jhana. So when radio comes into the picture, right, then I learned the awareness-based meditation, right? So initially when I don't really know how to meditate, Okay, and when I get into the so-called arupa jhana, right, I also do not know what is this, okay, and I also do not have attachment to it, okay, brother. And then when I start learning in awareness-based meditation at Cameron Highland, then it's like Raju said, you experience it for yourself, you know
Yeah,
it
yeah,
for
yeah.
yourself, and it's a lot easier to do than compared to like focusing,
Yeah,
concentration,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to build up the energy to reach whatever stage of jhana you want.
Correct,
It's a
correct.
lot more difficult, I find, I mean,
Mm.
although I didn't purposely go into it, because I actually don't know how to do it. It's just that it's a product of my so-called trial and error at the
Yeah, yeah,
beginning of
yeah.
my
It
teaching,
will come for some who has done it in the past. That so-called experience of concentration or the jhanic experience, they will arise. In fact, in
Correct,
the
correct.
early days when I was starting to teach, especially the first batch, a lot of them are doing jhana, where in the past they have this tendency. Uh, and most of them can do until the first and second jhana, but there are a few who one shot go through the eight jhana. Uh, and that time very popular and very common too. Uh, but the easiest way to comprehend this is you look at the sutta where Sakyamuni Buddha expressed it after he learned from the two teachers, Alara and Uddaka. Uh, he also reached all the jhanas, but he never proclaimed that he has realized enlightenment. He knew what he is seeking to realize, he has not realized it. Where he has this foresight that he saw that make him left the palace. Old age, sickness, and death. Yeah. He cannot overcome that bodily condition because he believed the form and mind, the human being, that Sakyamuni Buddha or Siddhartha, Gautama, that form and mind is him. That's why he has a problem. Despite realizing all the 7 and 8 jhanas, he still haven't resolved his understanding towards that so-called foresight, especially the first 3 signs of witnessing how the physical body go the way of nature, giving rise to aging, old age, then falling sick, then dying. Yeah. If the jhana can lead to enlightenment, then all of them would have become enlightened. The Buddha would have stopped there. No need to go beyond. So what he has realized is the unique paticca samuppada, the law of dependent origination. That one, through awareness, sati, he saw it. That's why you compare his teaching to all the traditional religious teaching, you realize the big difference is that sati, the mindfulness power factor. Yeah. The other thing like avoiding all evil, do good, then training the mind, I don't call purification of mind, the training of the mind to have psychic ability, to have deep samatha experience, deep meditative experience. Almost all religion have one form or other. But I realize the only power factor that is missing is sati. Sati is the only thing that most of this religion don't have. Until later on, Krishnamurti come about. Then his emphasis is on awareness. He don't use the word sati, awareness. Then Eckhart Tolle is power of the now, present moment awareness. So these are the recent teachers that realize the approach to meditation is through sati, awareness. And even a lot of later part Zen teaching, the emphasis is on awareness. Penetrating all the what they call wisdom aspect of awareness-based meditation to realize the true mind, the silent mind, then to realize the wisdom that can bring forth the understanding to see truth, to see the reality, and to go beyond all marks. Then to be in that state which is without dwelling, the three hallmarks of awakening. So now more and more Mahayana teachings, they are approaching meditation from that understanding. In fact, you look at a lot of the more advanced sharing and teaching in the YouTube, they have a lot of all this type of explanation. Recently, I also came across one, but quite long. So I was thinking, no point sharing. Maybe until later when you all have better understanding, then I share that. Well, that one is still in the way that they describe it. Because the Mahayana like to approach it from that training, and they have a lot of beautiful Mandarin word to express all those so-called 境界, and they like to use the word 破境, break that stage. And a lot of those that they describe, if you understand that it's okay, it's from that nature. But these are expression that give it like more beauty in the way they express it. It's just like the 5 aggregates of form and maya. They break it down into 9 types of consciousness. But actually it's basically the 5 aggregates of form and mind. Then the 8 type of consciousness is the usual one, the 5 aggregates. Then the 9th consciousness actually is not a consciousness, which is nibbana. But they tend to have a tendency to describe it and break it down and say, in their tradition they have 9 types of consciousness. So it makes it like sound very impressive, and also the way they describe it is like so much more detailed. But when you have penetrated it, then you realize it's not apart from the 5 aggregates of form and mind. So when it comes to that nature, it's quite similar. They can put into words all the various stages that they go through. I hope I can still get that YouTube sharing. I just saw it this afternoon. I was listening to it. Then after that, I think I just like I just left it. I didn't even save it. Normally, I would have saved a copy in my own private WhatsApp. Then when the time comes when I need to share, I will share. But I just let it be because not so important at this stage. So just let things be. Po Cheng, sorry. You continue. Po Cheng, are you
Yes,
there?
yes, yes. Yeah, what Brother Teo say about just now, just to recap a bit, like the teachers like Alara and Deka, they already reached the highest level of jhana.
Yeah,
Yet,
it's
I
all
mean, not to
jhanas.
mention, yeah, not to say Buddha awakened, the teachers also not awakened, Brother Teo, right? They
Yeah,
also not
yeah.
awake.
They are
So,
still at that level where they believe that is the highest meditative experience. So to them, taking rebirth in the formless rhyme is the ultimate that they want to realize. So nothing wrong with that. But Sakyamuni Buddha knew that is not what he is seeking for. So to transcend birth and death is to transcend samsara, the 31 plane of existence. That's why the two approach is very different. The other thing about the YouTube that I share is they have a lot of these 境界 and all those things, but they couldn't describe the final cessation. That part was missing. uh, Maybe later on, when more and more cultivator develop the understanding, then they can describe that part, which will be very useful.
Well, Theo, this YouTube that you mentioned, right, is it from a venerable monk or just from a normal lay person?
Oh, no. It's it's somebody prepared into a video from a sutta one. I think somebody has compiled it on, and it's very beautiful. It must be from the Mahayana Sutta one. He talked about there is one big Buddha there, then one abbot, I think the old monk, then one young monk. Then the abbot supposed to train this young monk. Then after that, the young monk actually was given a task to go to 3 places to cultivate. And the third one is very difficult to reach. He has to climb up a lot of obstacles. Then he reached a cave, I think. Then he entered that cave. Then inside he's supposed to meditate. Then he's supposed to break free from the so-called the 3 hallmark of Huining and all those things. Then after he has done it, he thought he has realized that. But they didn't explain the 5 stages of Bodhi-mind development. That one is the understanding, but they didn't link it to that. They just described those phases. Then it seems after he finished, he went and meet the abbot. The abbot congratulated him. He said, "Yeah, you have done well. You have penetrated it." But then, when the abbot brought him to meet up with somebody who have the real understanding, which they depict as a Sammasambuddha, like Sakyamuni like that, then the dialogue continued. Then the advice was, there are still more refined state that can be realized. Then they continue the cultivation. But what I don't see is the Bodhi-mind development being described inside there. The realization of the gateway to go in. That one all missing. But that is the Mahayana approach. Then the last one is the cessation. That Nibbana experience. They cannot describe that. But the other 境界, those who know Mandarin, you listen, you will love it. But then, as usual, it's like very well described, very beautiful. But it is their way of description, because the Mandarin word that they use is very beautiful, very suitable for the Dhamma. And if you really listen, then you how I should say, you will like have a lot of joy and see the beauty in the understanding of the description of that cultivation and all those things. But ultimately, if you have realized the whole thing, then you will know there are certain part that is not described, which they can't describe. But not bad from what that was described. I hope I can retrieve it. I don't know. It just pop up in the internet. But the Mandarin word they used was very beautiful, and it's quite long. I think almost 1 hour or 1 hour plus. But don't worry, just let things be. It's supposed to appear, it will appear. Then I let you all listen and see what you have to comment or the understanding behind. Project?
Yeah, very talking about this, the I mean the unique teaching of Brazil, right? This, especially this gateway, Brother. Uh, based on my interaction with the teachers, I mean, I have not heard a single word about this at all, no, Brother.
Of course, because very few people can have that understanding. Not to say to realize the gateway, even to penetrate the sainthood way is not easy. Then after that, to realize the first hallmark of winning, which is no thought, most people can have a glimpse of that, but they cannot penetrate beyond that because that nature is the beginning of the understanding of the true mind, the silent mind. Then to locate the gateway to go in is another very, very difficult practice or cultivation. I don't call it a practice. A very difficult stage of cultivation unless your understanding is there. Without the understanding, you cannot find the gateway on. Like I said, the wall, one maybe white wall, big piece of wall. The gateway is like a pinhole somewhere in the wall, like our whole physical body. You don't know where it is. But to know that it's around the heart area is already very good. That's why my last guy, when he came, he actually showed it to me where that thing is. That's why I cut short my training. Otherwise, it would have taken me at least 10 to 15 years to locate it on my own. I will finally locate it, where I located it before. But to really have the ability take a very long time. He himself knew, you know what he told me or not? After I was able to do it, I think, after a long period, well, after that few years, I met him in 1989, 90, 91, 19, around those 2-3 years I was with him. Then, before I left him, he also know he will not meet up with me. He called for a meeting to meet up with me. And we had it at somewhere, one bungalow in KL. One of the follower of his arranged for us. And he met me for 4 hours. And we talked. And inside that sharing, he told me a lot of things. Then finally, you know what he told me? He said, Mr. Teo. He called me Mr. Teo because he is so much older. When I was 35, he was already near to 60 years old. He was older than me by 20 over years. And he always called me Mr. Teo. He said, this whole universe, he said, only the two of us enough. He said, we can talk. Because I understand him, he understands me. Then after that, he told me, he said, Teo, do you know, he said, for any cultivator or meditator, he said, to come to your stage means to locate the gateway and to develop the movement and transformation. He is at least, he used the word at least, 80 years old. Which means, when I add 10 to 15 years, even I add 15 years, on my own, I can realize it at the age of 50, which is already very unique. But because of my special vow, that's why he has to come. And 6-7 times on the sign, then I met up with him. Then I was ahead of time. That's why I detected the gateway and everything happened when I was 35 years old. So I was ahead of time. That's why during that time, 1989 until 2004, 15 years, nobody come to me. I cannot share and teach all this because this is something that hardly anybody can understand. I was way ahead of time. Then even when I came out to share 2004, not until 2015-16, I cannot teach the Bodhisattva way. We are the causes and conditions not there. Then only after 2008, when Maitreya came, then I realized that was my mission. When I was requested to share the true Dhamma with the world, then I realized there are two parts. One is the sainthood way, the essential Dhamma, to make it very clear. That's how the Heart Sutta book came out. Then to explain the similarity between Heart Sutta's Mahayana teaching and the Theravada tradition's teaching. Then the other one is the Bodhisattva way, through the gateway on, the 5 stages of Bodhi mind development. That's why that part, you will come to realize you cannot find anybody. So far I haven't met anybody who can actually explain this to me. Apart from that small booklet that I received from Fagusan, the Senyan Fashi one, he just described the 5 stages of Bodhi mind development, but he cannot explain, or not to say he cannot explain, he didn't explain. There is a small booklet. He just mentioned them. But the moment I read that thing, I know what it was, because I have finished off the third stage of Bodhi mind development, then moving on to the 4th stage. That's why the moment I read, my nature understand that I knew what that thing is. That's why after that I can share and teach you all what that thing is. And that part is the realization that can allow me to share the 4 circle formation. Otherwise I cannot share, because I detected it early at the age of 35. Then now, at the age of 71, which is 36 years later, my nature has actually developed stability and progress until very different already. That's why the sharing and the teaching has become so different, especially over the past few years. After we moved the Thursday class to Pamasuri's place, then this 4 circle formation teaching, which is the Bodhisattva way, starts to arise. Then the unique Dhamma code, all this manifest. Then the Bodhisattva way, the blue book, everything they come about. Then the recent 3 books, also same, is to understand the full movement of the 5 stages of Bodhi mind development, leading to the real cessation of form and mind, which is the enlightenment in the here and now. That's why what you say is very true, because you can go and ask around. You cannot find anybody yet. I also haven't heard anybody write or describe about this, except the booklet from Senyan Fashi. Okay, Poh Cheng? Yeah.
Yes, Brother Teo, that is very true. So indeed, Brother Teo's teaching is so precious that and hard to come by actually.
Very hard to come by.
Never get
That's
any
why
teacher.
Maitreya, you all should thank Maitreya. Maitreya's nature came to me and request the sharing. It was in the year 2008, remember? Very vivid, very beautiful. And the message he repeated over 5 times. 请你把正法传下去. So that part was the most beautiful.
Brother Teo, with our Bodhisattva vows, right?
Yeah.
So when we come back to cultivate through this Bodhisattva way, right? So we will connect to our gateway again, right?
Yeah. Because once you plant the seed of Bodhi very firmly, it will activate itself on. That's why you must develop the stability of that vow, the faith. That's why I say this golden window, this window of what they call opportunity to go this way is very rare. You not only born a human, you have the causes and condition to receive the true Dhamma. 人生难得今已得，佛法难闻今已闻。And these are very important understanding. Then what are you waiting for? Then you somehow not only realize the true Dhamma, but that complete way of cultivation leading to Sammasambuddhahood, and with the penetrative understanding and approach that can lead to transformation and completion of that training in a very extraordinarily fast way. It actually, with this understanding, it expedite the training. Because what I realize through my past nature's cultivation is every time the bodhisattva that come and develop all this cultivation, they fail to continue their cultivation when the sasana is not there. Means they actually not able to continue with that pace of cultivation. They have to wait for causes and conditions, maybe for the next Buddha sasana to unfold. And then they cultivate again. And this way take very long. But I realize if you make that vow, and if you develop the faith, the saddha, the sincerity, and you persevere, then also you make the aspiration to ask for forgiveness from the Triple Gem and all beings. That one also help to speed up because it breaks all your karmic obstruction. Then the understanding, what they call, when you plant the seed of Bodhi deep, and with this life understanding, especially for Poh Cheng and Alicia, they are and a few others that have located the gateway, you all will progress very fast, and you will have that understanding to actually continue from this way of practice and cultivation. Your cultivation will be very different. It will expedite. Then once all this understanding has been developed, then if this life you contemplate, reflect until very clear, very stable, then you adhitan for causes and conditions to have this understanding life after life whenever you arise, or you choose to come, or you have to come. Then these causes and conditions that you have planted, the Bodhi mind will activate itself. Then when you come, whether got sasana or no sasana, it will move. Then it will arise the causes and conditions, understanding for your nature to manifest. Then your form and mind will know what to do. Then of course you have to refine all the understanding and allow your nature to develop the causes and conditions for your future coming. That's why my nature realized this segment of my life, I didn't do anything. Everything has been established. I won't say planned, established by my own understanding. And from that understanding, I did all this. That's why Maitreya want me to share all this understanding with the living beings that have the causes and conditions to benefit from all this, to move this direction. That's why that is a very unique one. That's why my nature knew when he came and approached me that this is what I am capable of, and this is what I'm supposed to share. The gateway thing. Okay, I think the alarm went off already. We have to end. Can you summarize and project?
Yes. Thank you, Radhi, for such a beautiful and rare, precious teaching on the awareness-based meditation and how to detect the gateway
To your
using this,
nature. Yeah, to your
using this
nature.
awareness-based meditation, and how we can continue to walk this way, every life will come, you know, without without difficulty, like struggling how to develop awareness and so forth, so that our mohi mind is activated each life we come, and continue the cultivation till we attain Buddhahood, right? That is important and most beautiful. And Brother Theo, because of your teaching, right? Actually, I don't have time to share now, but never mind, Brother Theo.
Next session.
Yeah, next session. Yes, next session. Because of because of Brother Theo's teaching, right? I realized that things happen, manifest, unfold by itself. So during my trip, I realized that people that I have not met is like my good friend, Brother Theo. And how things unfold, during the trip. So it was like how is that 因缘啊？因缘因缘安排好 it's like everything already there are causes and conditions in the past.
Pre-arranged already.
Yes, pre-arranged already. Then it just
因缘早安排
Yes, 因缘早安排. So it just unfold by itself for me to see, Yeah, so it's like very interesting that it show this way, and I mean, of course, I don't have to think about it, but after the trip, then I think about it, Brother Theo, that it's
after you come back.
Yes, it's like I mean, in the beginning, it's like coincidence. Everything happened like a coincidence, but actually, it's not a coincidence, Brother Theo, Yeah. So it's like the Dharma is very unique and very in that sense very wonderful, that things can happen, unfold, manifest by itself, and to show you, that these are the causes and conditions that you have planted in the past, therefore
for it to manifest.
Yes, correct. So you don't really need to do anything, like Brother Theo said,
correct.
It's just I mean, like everything fall into places.
It will happen. It will unfold.
So, Brother Theo, this awareness-based meditation and Brother Theo's, I would say, very unique teaching, because it's, I mean, I don't see any teachers.
You cannot find initially. Very rare.
Very rare. It's very hard to come by. I think one and only unique teacher, so far, I come across. Luckily, fortunately. So it could be also that we planted the causes and conditions in the past also. By Brother Theo, we meet you again this life, fortunately. Therefore, we learn so much things from Brother Theo. It speed up our training, cultivation, and you don't have to struggle,
For you, I think you are very lucky in the sense that you quite a clean slate, and you have faith, then you from zero base, you learn and you give it a try, because of the affinity and the faith. Then everything just fall into place. Actually, my nature was full of joy and surprise at the way you actually progress. That time we were going through the Heart Sutta 8 months. The year 2020, which was about 5 years ago. The year 2020, when I share all this, without meeting me in person, you learn it from that sharing, and you progress, and you finally located the gateway and transform. That was the amazing part. And so many things happen on that.
Brother Theo, because I think I had a very strong faith in Brother Theo.
At that time you have very strong faith.
I do not choose my teacher, Brother Theo. I do not choose my teacher in the sense that I don't choose a monk to be my teacher, I choose teacher. I mean, I don't know how to say it, Brother Theo. I don't look at the person, I must be a monk. Yeah, it's not like that one.
Yes. Because
you don't have to be a monk to be my teacher, Brother Theo.
Because of past affinity. That affinity is very different, very unique.
So I think that there are the past causes and conditions, the already set already in the past.
Correct. Otherwise, it cannot unfold like that one.
I don't choose a monk to be my teacher, brother Teo.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
first thing.
Mm.
Because of my strong sada, I start with the strong sada, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
choose my teacher. That
Mm.
breaks a lot of barrier, brother Teo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have a lot of friends, they can only have monks to be their teacher. You say,
Correct,
not
correct.
monk,
Very
one no,
true.
cannot
Yeah.
one no. If not, if a spiritual trip without a monk, cannot one no. If it's a
Yeah,
lay
yeah,
person,
yeah.
cannot one no, brother Teo. You see,
That's why that's
they
why
always look at this
many
as a,
people cannot actually develop the affinity. It's because they look at the outward appearances. Yeah. So once you base on that, the mind already create that discrimination, and that itself can eliminate you. Yeah. Because how I met my last guy also very strange. Actually, I don't want to meet him on. Well, by then, 89, I already got the Dhamma. I already understood what this teaching is, the cessation. But I don't know where the gateway is. That time, I really don't know. But the sign keep on coming now. 6 times now. Then on the 7th time, I say, I don't know who he is, but I must meet him. That's how I make that decision, based on causes and conditions. Then after I met him, he liked me so much. Even the wife, his wife, my last guy's wife, become jealous of how he treat me. He said last time the wife want to record his talk, he scolded the wife, reprimanded her. Then when I go and do the recording, or when I visit him in New Zealand, the wife told him straight in the face. He said, when Mr. Teo record, you never comment, you never say a word. When I record, you scolded me and all those things. Then later on, a lot of things, he talked to me and he shared all this with me. Very different now. Very different. Until the wife also got jealous. That's why all this, you ask yourself, how can it happen? It's because the last guy, he also has the what they call nature that is quite unique. But his approach is different. He is the pure energy one, the pure awareness base. Uh, he 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 more on that occult thing. Yeah. He doesn't go the Buddhist tradition that develop wisdom to that type of training to be Sama Sambuddha. His one is different because he has different ideal and all those things. So because of that, what I want to explain is the being that actually has affinity with you, they will know, and they will develop the interest in you. That's why he talked to me on many occasions, one on one. Then finally, before he left, I met him 4 hours. We have a very good session, and all this will happen. And it will unfold. Then he even tried to predict to me that he said, when there is no more earthly teacher who can teach you, means from the human rhyme, the early rhyme, he said they will send somebody from the astral to teach me. He predicted that. Then 20 years later, when I met him, he asked me, did anyone come? I said, no more. After you, no more. You are my last one. I said. Then he laughed. He said, very good. He said, Miss, I don't need. My nature don't need. And I said, so whatever it is, you have to understand that all these are already predestined or prearranged from the past, causes and conditions, based on your vows, your understanding, and all those things. That's why it's very beautiful. Okay, we have to end. Poh Cheng. Sadhu.
sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu,
Thank you,
sadhu.
brother Teo.
Let us rejoice. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your good sharing. Sadhu. So,
Sadhu,
let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu,
Okay.
sadhu.
We will now share merit, transfer merit, then we end. Akasata ca bhumata deva naga mahindika punyang tang anumoditva cirang rakantu loka sasana itta vata camehi sampadan punya sampadan Deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idang menya tinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang menya tinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang menya tinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo Devo satakalena sasa sampati hetu cha Fito bhavatu loko cha Raja bhavatu dhammiko Imina punyang kamena Mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu Yawa nivana patiya Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then we end. Sadhu.